Today, we're going to be looking at Google Gemini and specifically looking at what are the ways that we can prompt Gemini to get exactly what we need. Our goals for this quick video are going to be to give you some tips for great prompting, coach you through some iterative prompting, knowing that we can explore different outputs that we get when we tweak our prompts, and using Google Gemini as a coach. AI tools work best when you give them really specific prompts that they can follow. And 3 tips for that are always give it a role to play, a specific task that you want it to do, and tell it the format output that you would like that to be in. So if you give it a role, task, and format, it does a lot better job of performing that task. My example would be you got to give it directions like you're talking to a teenager, right? So I tell my son to put the silverware away. It might look like something in this image. If I tell my son, hey, pretend you are an expert silverware placement specialist, your task is going to be to sort that silverware neatly by item and make sure that it is in a beautiful in format with each piece going into the correct space in the drawer. That is a much better output. AI is similar to talking to a teenager, and we're going to model a few use cases and tweak some prompts to show you what that looks like. All right, crew, first I want to start off by just saying there is no such thing as a bad prompt. This is conversational, so literally you're all used to giving kids directions. You can definitely handle giving directions to this just through natural language conversation. The tips I'm giving you really aren't about bad prompt, good prompt. It's just about some prompts will get you better outputs. So I'm going to give you an example of what I get when I just say, tell me or teach me about the Roman army, right? So it's going to go in and it's going to tell me a little bit about the Roman army. That might be great. That might be all I need. If it's not, one thing I want you to know is you can always iterate on that prompt and tell it your next direction, right? So it will use what it has here as a basis for its next set of directions. But you might right off the bat have a really good idea of what format you want this in and exactly what you're looking for. So I'm just going to give you an example of what it looks like with a role, a task, and a format. So, hey, you're a military strategist from ancient Rome. Create a resource that compares the strengths and weaknesses of 2 specific Roman army formations. And then I'm giving a format also asking for it to put a 2-column table labeled with one on the left and the other on the right. So I'm going to give it that specific of a direction, and you'll see it automatically generates that out for me as a table, exactly like I asked for. So you'll also notice that it popped up in a canvas, which is really useful. Anytime something's in a canvas, I can export that straight out to Google Docs. Okay, so let's go through another prompt and try another one out. I can just ask a question, what is a food web? That's very general, and maybe that's enough for you. But if you want to get a more specific response, that is maybe targeted more towards first graders, I might have to tell it that in my prompt, hey, create a resource that explains the food web to first graders. Pretend you're a first grade teaching assistant. And then I could even give it a really cool format like make a poem. Let's go ahead and tell this to modify. So this is iterative prompting. We're going to iterate on our initial prompt, modify this for first graders, and it's quickly going to be able to turn that into an explanation that might be helpful for first graders. And if I want to iterate again to change my format, right, I could change the role that it's playing at any point. I could change the task that I'm giving it at any point, and I could change the format that I'm giving it at any point. Make this a fun poem. So any one of those, I can iterate the role, the task, the format, give it from the perspective of the caterpillar, right? So let's just tell it to rewrite this. We're going to change our role, rewrite this from the perspective, and it's just natural language of the caterpillar. And it will go ahead and rewrite our story here from the perspective of the caterpillar. Again, I could quickly export out to Docs, which is crazy helpful and useful. So iterative prompting, really, really useful. The last thing I want to point out to you is that Google Gemini is an excellent coach. So if you want coaching on better prompts, just ask it. Coach me how to write better prompts. And right away, I would be able to get into that and start getting into a coaching conversation. and it's giving me the context, subject, format, method. Great. All of these are really, really useful things that AI can do for you. So no matter what it is you're trying to learn, give it a try. Instead of your first thing being to go to search Google or go to YouTube for a video, try letting AI do some coaching with you and see how that goes for you. I hope this is helpful. We'll see you in the next one.